On the eve of the momentous Normandy landings, the stage is set for an epic tale of bravery and sacrifice. A team of elite American soldiers, armed with a crucial mission, is tasked with infiltrating French territory. Their objective? To parachute into a village occupied by the formidable German forces and take down a signal tower that's jamming the American Air Force, ensuring vital air support for the imminent landing of 120,000 Allied troops. But as the team's planes soar above the main battlefield, shrouded by thick clouds, they are met with a barrage of airbursts that rain down upon them with ruthless intensity. Most of the planes plummet from the sky, crashing before they even reach their intended drop zone, while heavy machine gun fire follows suit, unrelenting in its ferocity. The survival of the team hangs in the balance as they make a split-second decision to jump early and fast, plummeting into the tumultuous currents of the sky. Boyce, one of the soldiers, braves the chaos with the help of his comrades, making a daring leap from the plane. But danger still lurks as bullets whiz perilously close, threatening to cut short his valiant efforts. With sheer determination, he deploys his parachute, only to land in the unforgiving waters, ensnared by the treacherous cords. In a race against time, Boyce draws upon his resourcefulness and swiftly retrieves his knife, slicing through the ropes to free himself and swim towards the shore. But the respite is brief, for as Boyce reaches land, he is met with a hail of German machine gun fire, a grim reminder of the perilous territory he now finds himself in. With no choice but to sprint towards the safety of the woods, Boyce navigates through enemy territory, knowing that at any moment, he could come face to face with the enemy. His unwavering courage drives him forward, and just as he is about to draw his pistol to rescue their captain from a group of German soldiers, Ford, his fellow comrade, emerges to intervene, preventing Boyce from taking action. The air was thick with tension as the two men watched in despair as their captain fell under a relentless barrage of German fire. Ford knew that abandoning their mission to rescue their captain would spell disaster for the Allied forces landing. With a heavy heart, they pressed forward, determined to complete their mission. As they regrouped with the three remaining teammates, they became a formidable five-person team, marching towards their objective. But danger was everywhere, and they soon discovered this when one of their own stepped on a mine. The explosion rocked them, but they refused to let it deter them. With nerves of steel, they edged forward, using bayonets to probe the ground for more mines, inching closer towards their goal. Their journey took an unexpected turn when they stumbled upon a strange creature carcass and, to their surprise, a French woman named Chloe. After capturing her, they discovered that Chloe was a villager trying to evade the Germans and was eager to assist them. Guided by Chloe, they penetrated the heavily guarded German base, where the signal jamming tower was located. Ford knew that their small team was not enough to complete the mission, but he was determined to succeed. He sent two of his team members to search for any other surviving comrades while they continued towards the tower. After all, the power of one more person cannot be underestimated. However, their departure was quickly followed by the arrival of a German officer named Waffner at Chloe's house. Ford and Boyce hastily retreated to the attic, while Chloe had no choice but to let Waffner in, revealing that he often stayed there. Peering through a crack, Ford and Boyce watched as Waffner closed in on Chloe. Just as he was about to make a move, Ford intervened, holding a rifle to Waffner's head and rendering him unconscious to ensure the mission's success. Ford instructed Boyce to find their other teammates and urged them to proceed with the mission before the Germans discovered them. Boyce evaded the German patrols and made his way to the outskirts of the base, only to be horrified by what he witnessed. The Germans were transporting bodies, some of whom were still alive, but being gathered and burned. Boyce realized it was not a safe place to stay and set off to find his teammates, but was attacked by a vicious dog along the way. Desperate, he had no choice but to seek refuge in a German truck. Unaware that the truck was filled with the bodies of his fallen comrades, soon discovered that it was headed for the German base. Taking advantage of the commotion during the movement of the bodies, Boyce stealthily slipped out of the truck and infiltrated the base. To his surprise, Boyce found himself in a German biochemical experimental facility where the bodies were being used for gruesome experiments. Outside one of the cells, Boyce observed a doctor monitoring the subjects and recording data in a book. Once the doctor left, Boyce approached for a closer look and was horrified by what he saw. As Boyce ventured deeper into the laboratory, the chilling scenes grew even more disturbing. His eyes were drawn to the hanging bags filled with a mysterious red liquid, connected to tubes, swaying ominously. His curiosity got the better of him when one of the bags suddenly moved. With trepidation, he approached and unzipped the bag, only to come face to face with a living human in a ghastly condition that sent shivers down his spine. Before he could fully process the gruesome sight, the sound of footsteps echoed through the lab. He frantically searched for a hiding spot and stumbled upon another room where he spotted the same red liquid in a syringe. Just then, a woman's voice startled him from behind a curtain, and Boyce's heart skipped a beat. Pocketing one of the syringes, he cautiously followed the voice, only to be confronted with a woman whose head was the only part of her body still attached to her spine. The sheer horror of the situation left Boyce speechless as he tried to comprehend how she could still talk despite her dire state. But he couldn't dwell on it for long as he spotted a fellow soldier, strapped to a hospital bed with a tube piercing his body. Boyce's determination to save his comrade kicked into high gear as he gritted his teeth and went through the excruciating process of removing the tube, finally setting his comrade free. With their escape now at the forefront of their minds, Boyce and his comrade searched for a way out and stumbled upon a sewer entrance. They braved the darkness and filth, navigating through the labyrinthine tunnels, and against all odds, managed to make their way out of the base. Back at Chloe's home, Boyce reunited with his teammates, but the haunting memories of what he had witnessed still lingered. He couldn't shake off the images of the grotesque experiments in the lab. He confided in Ford, sharing every gruesome detail and revealing the red liquid he had taken. Ford's eyes widened with realization as he pieced together the puzzle. The Germans were up to something sinister, and Ford confronted the German officer with the stolen syringe, determined to uncover the truth once and for all. Despite enduring intense torture, Waffner remained steadfast, refusing to reveal any information. Frustrated, Ford abandoned the interrogation and put his plan into action. Chase was instructed to transport Waffner, but upon arriving at the loft, he discovered Waffner lying motionless, appearing to be dead. Falling for Waffner's deception, Chase released him from his restraints, only to be caught off guard. In a sudden move, Waffner tripped Chase and seized his chance, grabbing the gun from behind and shooting him. Boyce heard the commotion and rushed to the scene. Although Boyce apprehended Waffner, it was too late for Chase. Determined to save his fallen comrade, Boyce injected the red liquid into Chase's body. Everyone believed Chase was beyond saving, but to their amazement, the red liquid brought him back to life. However, the serum had some unexpected side effects. Chase felt an immense surge of power and a strange heat emanating throughout his body. His clothes fell off as he underwent a transformation, easily breaking through a thick pillar. Chase then lifted Boyce with ease, pushing Ford away as he tried to intervene. In a matter of seconds, several of their teammates were knocked out by Chase's newfound strength. Ford didn't hesitate when he saw Chase's monstrous transformation. He took aim and fired, bringing Chase down with a swift shot from behind. But Ford's mission was far from over. He turned his attention to Waffner, the man behind the Germans' diabolical experiments. Ford demanded answers, but Waffner was stubborn, refusing to cooperate. He revealed the Germans' desperate attempt to bring the dead back to life with a virus that turned them into zombie fighters. The tension escalated as gunfire erupted, signaling the arrival of a large group of German soldiers. Waffner seized the chaos to slip away, taking Chloe's son hostage. Ford and his team were caught off guard as Waffner joined the soldiers outside, and a fierce firefight broke out. Despite Ford's valiant efforts, Waffner slipped through their grasp, escaping with the boy, leaving Ford and his team in a desperate race against time. Back at the lab, wounded but fueled by desperation, Waffner injected himself with the virus against the doctor's warnings. Ignoring the fact that the virus had never been tested in live subjects, Waffner's determination pushed him forward. But one dose wasn't enough. Waffner needed 2 more, and the transformation was horrifying. He mutated into a formidable zombie warrior, more powerful and terrifying than ever. Meanwhile, Ford's team was on the move, using a captured German soldier as a decoy. They tied him to a motorbike and sent him back to the barracks. But when the German officer guarding the door intervened, he had no idea what was coming. Unbeknownst to him, the soldier had a grenade in his mouth, desperately trying to warn the officer of the imminent danger. But the officer didn't understand, ripping the tape off the soldier's mouth. The resulting explosion tore open the iron gate, unleashing chaos as German soldiers were caught in the blast, some killed and others wounded. The 2 brave teammates fought tooth and nail against the relentless onslaught of German soldiers, but the enemy's numbers were overwhelming. Forced to fall back, they strategized their retreat as reinforcements continued to pour in from the base. Meanwhile, Ford and his determined team had successfully navigated the treacherous sewers to infiltrate the German base, with Boyce leading Chloe towards the lab to save her son. Just as Chloe thought they were in the clear, disaster struck. Out of nowhere, a zombie lunged at Chloe, catching her off guard. Despite firing multiple shots at the creature's head, it kept getting up, unrelenting in its pursuit. Chloe's heart pounded as she realized the dire situation she was in. But in a stroke of quick thinking, she spotted a flamethrower nearby and wielded it against the undead. The flames proved to be a powerful weapon, and Chloe managed to escape the base. Meanwhile, Ford had set up a bomb, but he was caught off guard by Waffner, who had turned into a formidable zombie. Ford was quickly overpowered, and Waffner hung him on an iron hook, ready to inject him with the zombie virus. Just as all hope seemed lost, Boyce burst into the scene just in time. He fired at Waffner, desperately trying to save Ford, but the zombie seemed unfazed. With a swift and powerful motion, Waffner threw Boyce out of the room, leaving him reeling from the encounter with the formidable foe. Waffner's wicked plan was unfurling with terrifying speed as he unleashed the hordes of zombie fighters from the morgue. But Ford, despite dangling from a hook and facing unimaginable pain, refused to yield. Driven by an unwavering determination to stop Waffner at all costs, he summoned every ounce of strength and ripped the hook out of his own body, gritting his teeth through the searing agony. But Ford knew that to defeat Waffner, he had to make a grave sacrifice. Injecting himself with the zombie virus, Ford transformed into an imposing undead warrior, ready to face Waffner head-on. As Boyce battled desperately against Waffner, zombie Ford emerged from behind, launching into a fierce showdown with the diabolical villain. Yet, despite Ford's valiant efforts, Waffner proved to be a formidable adversary, knocking Ford to the ground time and again. Just when all seemed lost, Boyce seized a crucial moment, unleashing a shot that detonated a gas canister, blasting Waffner into oblivion. With Waffner seemingly defeated, Boyce rushed to gather Ford and make their escape from the base. But Ford had a different plan. Realizing that the virus threatened to unleash untold devastation upon the world and that he was teetering on the edge of losing his sanity, Ford selflessly ordered Boyce to blow up the lab and the signal tower. As Ford uttered the fateful words, Waffner, against all odds, stirred back to life, joined by more reanimated zombie fighters. Unfazed, Ford made the ultimate sacrifice, igniting the bomb in his hand, triggering a cataclysmic chain reaction that razed the entire base and signal tower to the ground. Boyce raced against time, fleeing from the exploding inferno, witnessing the destruction of their mission. But with the unwavering support of the Air Force, the Allies achieved a resounding victory in Normandy, thanks to Ford's heroism and selflessness.